So yeah, I started, but the thing about, well, how I ended up learning chess was that I was a little late. So I started in high school, but it was, when I was like, well, I don't know how it is in the States, but in Jamaica, I was in like 10th, 11th grade. So I was always almost on my way out when I eventually learned chess. But I fell in love with it so quickly and so passionately, for lack of a better term, that, as soon as I learned it, I started, competing for my high school. And, I took it beyond that, even into university.
Because another thing that's important for school districts to know is the University of Texas at Dallas, along with several other universities in the U.S., offer full ride scholarships to chess players. That's full ride, tuition, fees, books, and housing for 4 years. So like at UT Dallas, we don't have a football team, but we have a chess team. So when you're looking for activities, obviously the best thing you can do as a K through 12 student is get good grades and score well on standardized tests. I mean, we don't want anyone to skip those things, but there are an increasing number of universities that are going to look at your chess achievement and consider that when they're admitting you or when they're handing out scholarships. And I think that's important for school districts to know.
This is definitely a super intellectually stimulating environment for me. The different cultures here, to experience all of them, it's just super cool.
Chess scholarships here at UT Dallas are extremely good, and they pay for all your tuition and fees. They also give you a stipend each semester, which will pretty much cover your expenses like the housing and meals. Those are very, very helpful because we realize that the chess team members have to spend a lot of extra time preparing and studying and playing chess.
So I'm definitely a really good test taker because of chess, because definitely the time pressure issue. It's kind of the same whether you're like running low on time in a test or if you're running low on time in a chess game.
It is essential for children to cope with learning demands in formal schooling to be successful in school. So there is evidence that executive function can be trained in different ways. And chess is one of these good exercises that helps children to develop their executive function. For example, you need to regulate attention while playing, focusing on the opponent moves, plan your counter moves, remember, follow rules, and adapt to constant changes. So this is a very fundamental domain general cognitive ability. Some people would argue that it's the foundation for intelligence.
I mean, I think if we sat and took out all the different benefits for chess, we'll probably be here all night.
Yeah, I feel like everyone either played chess at some point in their life or they know someone. Like, oh, my uncle played chess or my daughter plays chess, or it's like there's always some connection.
My favorite thing about chess is its global appeal. The international, it cuts across obviously every imaginary boundary that you might draw. Again, whether it be socioeconomic or ethnic or gender or whatever it may be. So I'm in a sort of unique position hosting this podcast, and I love that I can, I have listeners listening from over 100 countries, and I've never counted, but it wouldn't surprise me if I've interviewed guests from at least 40 different countries. And I feel totally at home talking to them because we have this shared language of chess, this shared love of chess. And that, to me, as someone who likes to travel, I have young kids now, so I don't travel as much as I used to. But this idea that if you go to a city and you don't know anyone, if you try to seek out a chess club, you're going to find people that are sort of kindred spirits, and that you can read through this rich history across different countries. And so to me, that's the greatest appeal of chess, is that you can feel a bond with someone with whom you've maybe even never spoken.
Yeah, I started because my dad taught me how to play. And then in my elementary school, we had this chess club.
My main introduction was through my school chess club.
When I had friends that would play, I would play with them, but I didn't really formally get into chess until 6 years later. There was a chess club forming at my school.
So I pretty much started playing right in kindergarten. And where I grew up, Rochester, Minnesota, that's where I live now as well. They had a pretty strong program in the schools.
Unlike many sports, the opportunities in chess are not only for the greatest players in the world once school is over. A chief goal of schools is to educate and expand developing minds in order to prepare them for life. Schools that provide financial support for chess give their students an activity they can actively participate and improve in for the rest of their lives, rather than just becoming fans after graduation. The growth of K-12 chess seems only to be limited by how many adults are willing to volunteer in the absence of stipends. Many teachers inclined to start a chess club often have to choose another activity for which a stipend is offered in order to make extra money. The growth of scholastic chess is certainly not limited by the enthusiasm of its players. The popularity of chess is on the rise, a point made clear by retailers routinely reporting that they're sold out of chess sets, since The Queen's Gambit, based on Walter Tevis's novel, became Netflix's most successful miniseries. Chess.com recently apologized for issues resulting from their servers being overwhelmed by millions of players, saying traffic on the site had nearly doubled in 2023. When a school starts a chess club, kids show up. When neighboring schools form a chess league, enthusiasm among players surges even higher. A chess team with a titled player as their coach certainly has an advantage, but the adult running the club doesn't need to know more than how the pieces move to get started. Thanks to the support available from local chess clubs and the countless chess books, phone and tablet apps, websites, grandmaster lessons on YouTube, and chess coaches available for in-person or online lessons. While some of the measurable benefits of over-the-board chess are diminished or lost in online play, the benefits of school chess clubs and leagues for students, which should encourage schools to offer stipends to teachers, include scholarship opportunities, school involvement, inclusiveness as girls and boys can compete together on equal footing, and the game demands mental stamina in a time when kids' ability to focus on one thing is on the decline. The game teaches life lessons, like the importance of thinking before acting, as decisions have consequences. It also seems to encourage the healthy development of emotional intelligence.
Talking to a guy and say, hey, don't do this or don't do that will not have the same impact as if you sit them down on a chessboard and say, listen, with chess, you have to think before you move. And when they're able to see the consequences on the chessboard of not thinking before they act, it has an impact on their brain, whether it's consciously sometimes and subconsciously, that they're going to take into their everyday lives. And so, it's all of these reasons why I do believe that chess should be taught to every and anyone.
All right, so I'm a developmental psychologist. I'm interested in how children understand the social world. The area is called social cognition. I'm from the Education University of Hong Kong. This paper you read, The Secret of Masters, was published in 2019. The study in this paper was a collaborative project done with colleagues from Shaoxing University in China and the Education University of Hong Kong here. Perspective taking actually is the ability to infer other people's mental state to predict and explain behaviors. In other words, you can think of perspective taking as the ability to see the world in other people's shoes and understand how others might react in the way they do. And this is a very important skill for us to function in the social world because we are constantly interacting with each other, with other people. And this ability develops throughout childhood and adolescence. In this study, we were interested in children's visual perspective taking. That is, whether a child understands that other people see things differently from their own angle. And chess actually provides a perfect training ground for such ability, because a chessboard is a visual representation of two different players' views and their intentions, where individual players are constantly assessing the attention of the opponent's move, predicting their next move, and plan your own move accordingly. In a way, a chess player is constantly practicing his taking ability during a game. So in our study, we compared long-term chess players with non-chess players on their visual perspective taking. Our chess players were recruited from a after-school chess club. They started training from 6 years of age. By the time the study was conducted, they had 4 to 5 years of intensive chess training every day after school. So Usually people process their own perspectives faster than process other people's perspectives. That's exactly what we found in the non-chess group. The chess players, however, were equally good at processing their own perspectives and processing other people's perspectives. It makes sense that chess players in our current study could take other people's perspectives and switch between their own and other people's perspectives more efficiently without exhausting their cognitive resources. I think the result also makes theoretical sense because research has shown that perspective taking is highly correlated with executive function. When you take other people's perspective, you need to inhibit your own perspective, hold multiple information in mind simultaneously, and be able to switch between your own perspective and others. Our study actually adds to this line of evidence that chess training helps children to take others' perspective more effectively.
We have here Maria from Ukraine. She just won. She's playing girls under 16 and has 4.5 points. How do you prepare for chess?
Now I'm preparing in Switzerland. Because of the situation of Ukraine, I had to move to Switzerland.
Do you have your family with you there?
Yes. I'm in Switzerland with my mother and with my sister, but my father stayed in Ukraine.
I like study math a lot, I guess, and I think it helps in math, or just in general with pattern recognition and cognitive thinking, and also learning how to focus for a long time. Chess games can be, like 4 to 6 hours sometimes, and you need to learn how to focus and maintain the focus for that long, which definitely can help into all aspects of life, I think. And also patience. Well, just like anything, like learning how to study and be resilient and persistent, and just a ton of qualities, I think.
Yeah, so I'm working on my college essays right now. And one phrase that my mom came up with, which I really like, chess is the silent game that gave me a voice. So that kind of means that when I was younger, I was really shy. And after I joined chess club in second grade, that kind of gave me confidence because it was something that, I don't know, I could share with other people and I was actually really good at. So it gave me confidence and it also gave me my own identity. And it's like my own identity that even now in high school, people know me as like the chess guy or like a national master, which I think is really cool.
All right. Well, my name is Alexi Root, and I live in Denton, Texas. I've been a rated chess player since I was 9 years old, and my peak U.S. chess rating was 2260, which is national master level. That's about the top 2% of players rated under the U.S. chess system. And since 1999, I've been working for the University of Texas at Dallas as a lecturer. In 2001, I started teaching online courses about chess and education. And then I also do a lot of freelance writing. I've written 8 books. And most recently, in April of 2022, I became Chief Science Officer for Chessable. Chessable is based on science-based learning to help users improve at chess. So Chessable has an interest in science and is supportive of researchers all over the world who are investigating questions about chess. So as Chief Science Officer, one of the things I'm going to establish are Chessable Research Awards for undergraduates, graduate students, and faculty advisors to those students to support them financially as they do research about chess.
I think one of the biggest benefits for kids playing chess, and this is especially for the younger kids, it's really hard for kids to sit still and focus, and also to kind of make like relational connections in terms of their thought process. So I've been reading a book recently called Range, and it sort of makes some points about chess and how to study chess versus other activities. And one of the things that it mentions is how, for example, if you just teach a kid immediately, like, here's how to do a checkmate, and have them repeat it back, they will probably get it right away. But if you give a problem that has multiple choices, they're going to start guessing. But if you make them just sit and figure it out, that's a different skill set. Like, they're not just guessing and you say, yep, that's right, or, oh, try again. You can really focus at the board, and every single move is a problem you have to solve. And no one's jumping in, giving you a solution immediately. Like, yes, this is correct. Nope, try again. Here's a hint. So it's really different skill set. And I think it builds patience and that ability to kind of figure things out on your own without someone jumping in.
It's 10% and less women are present in chess, whether it is leadership, whether it is competitively, in every aspect of chess. And that's pretty bad, right? That's like 1 out of 10. I mean, I was at the conference, the General Assembly the other day, the Congress, and there was like scores of men, and I was just counting the handful of women just dotting in the room, and I was like, wow. And I've said this before, and people ask me, oh, why don't why do you think there's so few women in chess? And I always say, well, chess is not really advertised to girls. And so that's one of my strong belief of why there are not more women in chess, that it's not marketed to them. It's not their first inclination. Let me sit around a board and push a piece, right? And so if we're able to market chess more to women, get it in front of their faces, for lack of a better term, I always believe that will definitely increase the number of women, that will be involved in chess. And so, of course, having more chess in school, currently now in St. Lucia, we are going to be having a chess and education seminar, which is this major drive to get chess into the schools, because we do know that chess is a major educational tool. We see the impact it has on emotional intelligence. I believe they did a study in Spain that showed that out of, football, or I think what's the other sport? Softball. Soccer is, we say football, but in Europe, football is soccer. So I think football and basketball, that chess actually had a bigger impact on the students' mental capacity than any other sport. And of course, there's numerous other studies that shows the benefits of chess. So getting it in schools, absolutely. And, making it equally out there for both male and female, I think will really increase it. Because a woman, I can tell you, is not going to naturally go for chess without it being presented to her.
But I do think having more chess clubs would definitely increase participation in general, which would probably increase female participation.
I think chess, like a lot of different hobbies, it's easier to play the earlier you start. So if you don't start until later, you feel like you're a little bit behind the curve. So if girls were able to start at a younger age, like let's say in elementary school, there was kind of a chess class that was introduced, I think that would encourage them to play more as they get older. And I've seen one example of this. It was actually in a middle school, though, for grades 6 through 8. They had a chess program, and it's for students who were learning English as a second language. But they all had chess built into their school day, and they loved it. They were all playing chess. And I found some of the girls especially really thrived on playing chess and seeing their success and competing with the boys. And it was just kind of cool to see. Nobody cared about what gender you were. They were all just playing chess and having fun. So I think if we were able to bring chess into the schools, it would sort of encourage that atmosphere where it's not like you walk into a chess club and you see 95% of the players are male or 85% or whatever it is. It's a little bit less intimidating if sort of everyone's brought up playing at a younger age.
Yeah. So the social benefits of chess to me were immense, mainly because you just met such a wide variety of people. Starting out just sort of on a local level, I was lucky enough to grow up in Center City, Philadelphia, and it was it was what's called a magnet school. So it attracted a sort of wide range of students from different ethnic and socioeconomic backgrounds to begin with, but still within your group of friends, maybe you don't mingle with people with that much of a difference initially, but once the chess team came together, not only are you becoming friendly with the people on your team, but you get involved in city leagues and stuff like that. So then Philadelphia's got obviously different different ethnicities in different neighborhoods, and you would get to play certain teams over and over again. So that would happen on a micro level. And then as you move to like a national stage and start to grow up, obviously you start to meet people from all over the country. And then if you stick with chess, there's an opportunity to meet people internationally. So to me, it can be a great sort of obviously it's a game that seems to attract introverts. So in one sense, it's not, and it's an individual game. So it's not automatically something that you would think can be a great social benefit. But once you get involved in the world, I think that it can be.
The biggest opportunity chess has given me is just to meet people from all different places. I mean, for most of my life, I've been traveling only like throughout the US. But even going to like California or Washington, D.C., you get to meet different people of different ages, different backgrounds. I think that's really cool. And then obviously when I went to the World Youth, that was just like meeting different people, but like even more. I mean.
And, and even to add to that, just outside of even with high school, part of what I love most about chess is actually the social benefit that it offers. I mean, one of the ways that I got involved in chess, of course, after high school and then after doing it in university, was I started teaching the visually impaired how to play chess, right? Because, and I love a good chess player, right? When you're able to win all your games, being very competitive, that's great. But for me, more so how chess can really impact and change your life. Like that was a major drive for me. Or to be able to say, you know what, I changed that person's life because, I taught them chess. That was a bigger drive for me. And so, I started off teaching the visually impaired. And of course, we continue in our social projects, even in Federation, by going into the prisons and, we look into to get chess to the disabled and stuff like that. So, that more social and beneficial aspect of chess, outside of just competitive, I'm always very interested and involved in.
I think it's amazing. Honestly, a lot of my better friends are friends that I made through chess. You kind of like already have something to connect with, like on another level. I don't know. It's really cool. Also, you can travel around the country and you have friends everywhere, or even international friends.
The persons I've been able to meet, the opportunities I've been able to have. I mean, just this year alone, I've traveled to like 8 countries that I'm certain I would not have been to if I did not play chess. And, outside of just being in a fun sport, chess helps to increase your confidence, right? I mean, even for me, just imagine, winning a chess game, it's part practice and, good strategy. But there comes a bit of confidence and ego with it for you to feel and know that, I can be my opponent and this is what I need to do. So it helps to build self-confidence.
Also, I think chess kind of helped me train my creativity. So just kind of thinking outside of the box and in certain positions, kind of pattern recognition. It kind of helps generally in school, I'd say. Maybe for projects or writing essays. Maybe it's easier to string together ideas.
Was it a fun experience? Had you traveled before for international tournaments?
Yeah, I've traveled a lot. I've played, I think that was my 6th World Youth. And I've played a lot of North American Pan Americans before. But it wasn't that stressful, which made it more fun too.
So growing up, I had a lot of friends who played chess. So a lot of my tournaments were up in the Minneapolis area, about 90 minutes north of where I lived. And I had a strong kind of bond with a lot of the local chess players. So we would go to the same tournaments and we would go to some chess camps, and we would even hang out outside of tournaments, like have sleepovers, or, I might stay at one of their houses if I was up there for a tournament. So from a young age, it kind of built a lot of social bonds with other kids who played chess. And then in high school, especially, I found that, a lot of students are kind of finding their place when they're in high school, whether they're in drama club or playing a sport or playing chess. And I was able to join a chess team that had a really strong group of friends. And we were friends not only at the chess tournaments, but also outside of chess, right? So we would be at chess club and we would play chess for an hour or two. And then we'd all be like, oh, let's go outside and play ultimate frisbee or something else. Like, let's all just go out instead or go out for dinner. So chess has really been a strong kind of social aspect for me growing up. And I think, as you progress with chess, if kids get into, let's say, teaching other kids, then it brings in that role where it's like they're learning to be a mentor and teach others and kind of picks up some of those teaching skills at a younger age too.
And I always say chess is one of the very few sports that anyone could participate in. If with football or maybe track and field, you might not be the athletic type, or maybe you're not physically capable to play football or play cricket or whatever it is sport you like. But with chess, everyone can play chess, whatever age you are, gender, ability, potential. Everyone can play chess. And I think that's what makes it such a beautiful sport. And I always say everyone should learn chess.
I think there are a lot of opportunities around chess. There are a lot of ways that you can find a space for it in your life. I feel very fortunate that hosting a chess podcast is basically a full-time job for me. And that's taken years for that to take place. But obviously there's hugely successful YouTube creators, Twitch streamers, and then there's the actual competitive players who can, if you're top 30 in the world or something, you can make an amazing living. Otherwise, you probably need a backup plan, let's be honest. But there's just amazing, so many ways you can fit it into your life. There's corporate leagues that have been around for a while, but I think are growing rapidly, a way to build camaraderie around the workplace, as well as to make connections, professional connections. And obviously at the scholastic level, I'm a strong advocate. Of all the things that kids could be spending their time doing in this device age, speaking as both a parent and a former teacher, chess is not perfect. No activity is perfect. Losing can be tough to deal with. And that's a harsh lesson that gets imparted particularly harshly in chess. But I do think that it's overall a healthy activity for kids, and then you can just see where it takes you. So I generally think it's worth exploring, and then as long as people aren't being having it shoved down their throats, if they like it, there's plenty of opportunity to eventually try to carve out a place for it in each individual's life.
Young kids now can start a Twitch stream account or a YouTube account. And start to build a following or even make some income before they even graduate high school. And you can coach students as well. So you could be a private instructor in the summers as a high schooler, for example, and teach other kids.
And of course, I also am still working for the University of Texas at Dallas. And spring, summer, and fall semesters, I teach online courses available to anyone all over the world that can be elective credit about chess and education. So I know you're already to your student teaching, so it's probably too late for you to be adding on a course, but those courses are available. I've even had people as far away as Qatar taking my classes online.
I think chess is an interesting thing kind of on a college application or a job resume. So even if you don't have a scholarship, I think it could, kind of stand out as something different. Like, oh, you excelled at chess in your childhood. That's kind of cool.
But, leadership is such a profound way to, impact people's life with chess. You have trainers, you have arbiters, you have coaches, you have event planners and coordinators and organizers, right? So, and then even within the chess world, there are persons who are, who do technical work, whether it is help, with, software for chess or with FIDE. There's like so many things or so many ways you could be involved in chess. I've met so many people who are leaders in chess and they've never played in a tournament. Some of them don't have rateds, right? But maybe they got involved because their child was playing chess or they have a particular skill that they see that they could use to help to push chess forward and get chess to more persons. So there's so many opportunities, even for myself. I mean, being the president of the federation, I can honestly say I've met persons from almost every country across the world. Of course, being present at the Olympiad, which had over 188, persons from every corner of the world. I can honestly say without chess, I'm certain that would not happen. But being involved with chess is life-changing. There's tons of opportunities that could, anyone who gets involved really, almost the sky is really the limit, I'd say. There's so much to grasp.
That's probably the future step for research, to see whether chess players have this cognitive level, qualitatively different perspective-taking quality comparing to non-chess players. But what we can be sure is that chess training enhanced their working memory, their cognitive flexibility, their inhibitory control, so that they are faster, more efficient in taking others' perspective. That is really important in our everyday function, in workplace relationship, couple relationship, parent-child relationship, even in world politics. A lot of the conflicts are due to lack of perspective taking. We cannot see how other people's views, beliefs are different from our own. That's what causes these conflicts. So I think this is a far-reaching domain of study to really see how we can help children, school kids, to learn that, okay, people think differently from us. And our views are not necessarily the only view or the correct view in a sense. And we really need to think about how other people see the world and understand their perspectives and be tolerant, be inclusive in a way.